I'm Trevor Christensen. I'm here in Glendale, California, and these are my 4 rules for personal projects. So rule number 1 is pretty simple. It's just believe in your idea. If you think an idea is interesting, someone else will think that idea is interesting too. Lots of projects start out by just following your curiosity, and when you pull that thread, you don't know where you're going to end up, but it's likely that someone else is going to like that too. The next thing is, when you do a personal project, you should make sure it's actually a project for you. I know a lot of people who are excited about doing work for nonprofits or aid organizations, and that's really cool, but that's not really a personal project. That really just turns into client work. It should almost feel selfish. It should almost feel like you're just taking from the world. And all you're really doing is pursuing your curiosity. But if you're used to photographing weddings or photographing birthday parties, it might feel weird to just be doing a project just for you and not for anyone else. But in personal work, it's okay to be selfish and just want to do something for yourself. It seems like a simple question, but when people have a personal project in mind, they might not actually know what the first step is. For me, it's often just writing an artist statement or sending an email or just asking someone for help. So whatever that first step is for you, take it. It could be something as simple as asking your spouse for help on a weekend. It could be sending a text message. It could be writing an artist statement. Whatever that first step is, just stop this video now and write down what that is, and then go do it. Something to avoid is relying on social media for your first step. Social media has this way of making us feel like we're being productive when we're really just spinning our wheels and creating new Instagram accounts. So try to avoid that. Number 3 is just ask for what you want. I'm most well known for a personal project I did a few years ago called Nude Portraits. It was a series where I photographed clothed subjects while I was nude. And when I first had the idea, I just assumed that no one would be interested in it and that I would just be laughed out of the room. But when I started reaching out to friends and explaining the idea, they all signed on and they were interested in it. Those photos went on to go viral, and suddenly I had not just my friends saying they would let me take their photo while I was naked, but strangers were saying, hey, I want you to take my picture for this project too. But when I first started Nude Portraits, I had no idea that could happen. All I had to do was put myself out there and say, hey, I have this idea, is anyone else interested in it? So in your project, you might feel like you're asking something that's big and lofty and maybe unattainable, but what I want you to do is just ask for what you want. You might find that people are excited about it and really interested in helping you or being part of your project. And you're never gonna find that out if you don't just put yourself out there. So number 4 is deadlines. Now for me, I know that I really only have the energy to work on a project for about 6 weeks. After that, I start to get bored. So when I come up with a personal project that I'm excited about, that I'm gonna pursue, I say, I have a deadline on this, and often that deadline is being held accountable to a friend, or maybe that project is going to go in an art show and so someone is waiting on me. But deadlines make your projects actually happen and they hold you accountable. Or my point for number 4 is like your project needs to have structure, and part of structure is a beginning, middle, and end. And part of the end is just having a deadline and a set parameter for whatever your project is going to be. Should we just use that?
Yeah.
Okay. So these are my personal rules for starting a project. They're believe in yourself, figure out what the first step is, ask for what you want, and figure out your deadline. I love hearing about people's personal projects, so let me know what you're working on in the comments. And if you have your own personal rules that you follow when you're working on work, let me know about those too.